Welcome back. We're doing some super cooking in the kitchen now. See what I did there? Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. So
It's a dinner show, by the way. Tofu is on the menu today.
Yes, joining us now. I don't get any dad jokes. That's really sad. Joining us now with her recipe for tofu and miso soup is Ava Pau from Asia Kitchen. Hello, Ava.
Hi.
I've already been asking you loads of questions, but let's get into this.
Yes, so it's really, really simple. We're going to make a very simple dashi stock for the basis of the miso soup. So the dashi stock is made up of this lovely dried seaweed here and this dried tuna flakes. So what you need to do is you need to soak the seaweed in water for 30 minutes, then you boil it. But boiling it, you don't let it really boil really heavily. You can, when you see little kind of bubbles, that's when you turn it off. And then you take out the seaweed, because if you leave it in for too long, it kind of gets the seaweed gets a bit gloopy.
Okay.
All the goodness is out.
Yeah, so you don't want it to be you want it to be quite clear. It's a very clear broth.
Okay.
And then...
I'm not heading down to Sandymount or Dollymount to get this seaweed.
This is gourmet seaweed.
I'll make it much simpler. You can come down to our store in the Asian market.
Exactly. But that's, you head to the Asian market to get it. It's not...
So
no.
These are called bonito flakes, and they're dried kind of tuna flakes. You kind of sometimes see it, and I'm just going to add about 20 grams into the soup stock. And what you do is you let it kind of simmer for about 10 minutes until all the bonito flakes, just a gentle simmer. So you don't really want this to be boiling really heavily. So that's the key to this.
So you're always kind of keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, so you have a low to medium heat simmer. So just for time-wise, I'm just going to show you the process of making it. So you do leave that to simmer for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to just pour the soup stock, okay? You drain it out and you pour the soup stock into another...
pot with a sieve, yeah.
Yes,
Lovely.
and then you take the sieve, and that's the bonito flakes, and then you have, this is your dashi stock.
Okay.
So this gives you the lovely flavour. Then you you turn off the heat, and then you add your miso. So this is your miso paste.
Okay.
So this is like a fermented soybean paste, and you can do loads of things with it, and this is where you get that lovely kind of umami, salty flavour.
Umami.
Okay.
We were talking about umami before, weren't we?
Great word.
Fancy word of the week.
So what you do, usually the miso paste goes in when you don't kind of heat this and put the miso paste. So you kind of turn off the heat, and then you mix the miso paste in with the dashi stock. So a really simple way to do this is just to get like a little kind of a ladle, and you kind of just try to combine it together.
Oh, before you just plop it in there, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess it's really about time and focusing on flavour instead of just rushing this, because you want all of those flavours to come out in the end when you taste it.
And the thing is, it's such a good base for putting a lot of other things in.
Yeah.
So you can put mushroom. I'm putting tofu and seaweed in today, but you could put your salmon. You can put lots of different kind of seafood into it. Yeah. And so I'm just kind of combining the kind of stock, a little bit of stock with the miso paste, and then kind of pouring it in.
Okay. There's no need for seasoning with this because of the seaweed and because of this.
The miso paste actually gives you all the lovely seasoning already. And then the tofu, this one is actually a cooked tofu, so you don't need to kind of boil it for that long.
Okay.
And so you just need to add some in, along with this seaweed here is called wakame seaweed. And this seaweed, I can just show you here. It usually comes in a dried format like this. Oh. And so you just rehydrate it in some cold water, and it fluffs up like this. I know.
Oh, right.
It's amazing. But there's so many uses with this. You can add it into this soup, and it gives this lovely kind of chewy texture. But you can actually use it for making a salad. Oh, so you can add some vinaigrette into it, and it just gives that extra texture.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to add some into this, and that's your miso soup done.
That's it?
Yeah, that is it.
Oh,
that is it.
God.
And I've actually put some into your little bowls there for you to try.
Oh, lovely.
So
So it's really about the stock and the base of it first. That's what you take your time with. But then you can get creative and kind of...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you can keep it in the fridge for 3 or 4 days, and it keeps. So
amazing.
You can pre-make the stock, and you can cook some vegetables in the stock as well. So it just gives a lovely flavour. And you see, it's really worth making your own dashi stock, though. Because you can actually buy a powder version of the dashi, and so you can just add in, and it'd be quicker.
Okay.
But actually, when you taste the real one that you've made yourself, and it's so quick, and so and you won't go back to using the, using the powder one.
Okay, so it's just a little bit of minding initially, and then
Yeah, absolutely. And like another trick is like you can actually leave it overnight. So if you leave the seaweed overnight and then the flakes, you can kind of pour it out and have the dashi stock. A lot of like Japanese families would do it that way.
Yeah.
So you're not, you know, you can use the time if you want to make it straight away, you can do that, or you can leave it overnight. It's kind of soaking. It's kind of a cheats way of doing it, I guess.
And let's say like if you had a vegan family member, right? Because the stock is made from seaweed, which would be vegan, then the tuna flakes. Is there any alternative for the tuna flakes?
You just leave out the tuna flakes.
Okay. Oh, interesting. So I'm just thinking if you had someone over, you wanted like a starter, this would be perfect.
So quick, right?
Yeah.
And then it's so cool for the winter months. It's like, and it's really, really healthy as well.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
We will do
the proof is in the eating, isn't it? As they say.
Oh, this looks amazing.
It does.
And what was the name of the seaweed we put in again?
Wakame.
Wakame.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's two kinds of seaweed, isn't there?
Wakame seaweed. So this one is like kind of the smaller type of a seaweed. So you can just give it a little stir because the miso might have just...
I got a bit of the wakame in there.
Yeah, so do I, and a bit of the tofu too, just to make sure that...
So full of flavour.
It is delicious, really delicious.
Gorgeous.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're right.
Thank you, Ava. If you want to make some of your own miso soup, full recipe details are up on our website.
OK, after the break, how to keep safe in the dark evenings this winter. We'll see you for that after this.